Welcome back to Scott's Derby Garage. Today I'm going to show you how to find a cheap Demolition Derby / race car. Because if you've ever been to a fall fair, the Demolition Derby is probably the star of the show. And if you've ever thought, hey, that looks kind of fun, I'd like to try it, but you didn't know where to get started, well, this video is going to be for you. I'm going to talk about where to look, what to look for, and we're going to talk about the total cost and some planning that goes along with it. Now, because this channel is based on Demolition Derby, that's what I'll mostly be focusing on for this video. That being said, if you decided Demolition Derby is what you want to do, then the next step is what class you want to run. There's lots of them. You could run trucks, vans, cars. You could do some of the racing. But for a first timer, I would recommend either figure 8, Democross, or a windshield compact. The reason being that these are usually the cheapest and easiest to find, and they can be very simple built, don't need a lot, and you can probably do it all with just a simple socket set. This next step also ties into the previous one, and it's where do you want to run? Maybe you live right down the street from your local fair board, and perfect, it's nice and convenient. So in that case, maybe you want to decide where should I run, and then what class do I want to run? And that might help you out. So once you've decided on what class you want to run, now I highly recommend looking up the rules and fully reading through all of them, and this will give you a better idea of what to expect going forward. So let's do that. So for example, if you happen to live in Southern Ontario like me and are running a show put on by Impact Motorsports, then just here's how you can find the rules. Head over to impactmotorsports.com.ca, impactmotorsports.ca, and then you go to the rules tab, and you can scroll down and pick which one you're looking for. So for this, we'll show you Democross. So here are the Democross rules, and a lot of this first part is acknowledgement and just policy. So you guys should read through them more thoroughly, but for this purpose, I'm just going to scroll down to the actual car rules for now. So in Democross, you can run any 3 to 10 cylinder car, van, truck, SUV. No hybrids or EVs, because lithium, if you've ever seen a lithium ion fire, you cannot put that out. So we don't want that. Let's see what we got here. So insurance, everybody signs the waiver, just basically says you're doing this at your own risk. Flammable material, you got to gut the car, so remove all the plastics, all the door panels, all the glass, all the lights, anything that can basically just kind of cause a mess. If your car is a trailer hitch, you have to, it says must remove all sharp edges, so just cut it off or unbolt it. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Take out all the airbags too, can't forget that. You don't want an airbag going off right in your face during the Derby because you're hitting a bunch, so it could go off. Roof number, you should have a roof number plate, but a lot of guys, you just paint the numbers on the side of the door. Must have your number fully clear, marked on both sides. Fire extinguisher, that's something you might need to get, but they're like 40 bucks Canadian Tire. If you get the, I think 2.5 pound one, it comes with a bracket that you just bolt into the car. It's good to go, won't move anywhere. But like I said, these builds, their first time, it's going to be super simple if you do one of these classes. The battery, you can move it, or you can just leave it in the stock position and cover it with a floor mat. Good. And it even says stock gas tanks may be removed. So you can keep your stock gas tank in, which is super easy. You just run it as is. They want you to put an extra strap underneath. Yep. Additional strap underneath. So I usually just take some seatbelt and I will bolt it through the floor underneath, and that works as an extra strap to hold it up. Then you don't have to build like a custom tank. Even though it's not as complicated as I first thought, it's pretty easy to do. This just, it saves you time. You can just run the stock gas tank. Fuel lines, you don't got to worry about it if you're running stock gas tank. Same with the fuel pump. The key shuts it off. Good to go. The hood, just basically tie it down in a couple spots with some seatbelt. Like just unbolt. The seatbelts are awesome. Like they hold you in a crash. Those things are strong. You can hoist an engine out of the car with one. So for the purpose of tying down the hoods and the doors, just use all the seatbelts in the car. Cut it out. Not important. bracing. You can put in a roll bar, depending on which class you're doing. Like you probably do want a roll bar. I just have a simple um, 2-inch piece of pipe or something that I welded in from the floor to the roof behind my driver's seat. But then again, for a basic car, you don't need it if you're just trying it for your first time. It would be nice to have, like recommended for safety, but not mandatory. The windshield, you can even keep the windshield in. So that's pretty nice to help again by keeping this all super simple. Bumper, you're allowed to put like a beefed up bumper on it or just run the stock one. Easy. Um, Make sure you disconnect the AC lines. Ideally, go to your local shop and have them remove the refrigerant out of the AC system. Don't just cut the line and have it go to the atmosphere, but whatever. The rad, they want you to drain all the coolant out. Just run water. And let's see. That's pretty much it. Tires, you can use any tires. So just run, if the car comes on winter tires, just run those tires. Good to go. So basically, it's all pretty simple. You don't need to do that much to it for a basic build. Obviously, there are other tricks that I'll show you guys to make it easier. Or not necessarily easier, but you'll have a better chance because the more effort you put into it, like the more you'll get out of it. So there's just other like tricks that you can do, simple modifications that help you make the car last longer. So something else you're going to want to keep in mind is where you're going to park and work on this car. Storage can be a bit of a tricky situation, so you want to make sure you figure this out beforehand. Because you don't want to get all excited, go find a car, bring it home, and then have your mom tell you, you can't park this in the driveway. So maybe you got a friend with a shop or a neighbor with a garage, somebody you can store the car there for a little bit, and even they can help you work on it. Either way, make sure you've got a place to put this project. Another important topic is cost. You might be saying, how much is this going to cost me? Well, in 2026, I want to say if you're starting out from literally nothing, just set aside $1,000. Now, it might seem like a lot, but keep in mind, this is like if you need cash up front for everything. Like, obviously, you need to buy the car, but if you need to put some repair parts on it, maybe you have the entry fees at the fair and all the equipment for safety, like a helmet and goggles and stuff. So if you've got all that, then cool, that helps with your cost. But let's say you don't have any of that. So I'm putting it on like a higher amount, just as maybe like a maximum. Also, if you can find anyone, good friends or family member or work who can sponsor you, just spray paint their name on the car, slap a cool sticker, decal, give them like a shout out pretty much when you enter the ring. Then they'll chip in some money hopefully for your entry fee, and it'll help you cover some of the costs and make that amount go down. And you also want to remember, at the end of this, you're going to sell the car to the scrapyard, so you get that money back somewhat, and you can sell the catalytic converters off of it. So, and maybe even part it out. That's what I try to do with most of my cars. I'll get them, put them on Marketplace, see if anyone wants any of the stuff I don't need, like any of the interior really, or like tail lights, headlights. Sometimes you can sell the bumper covers, and then again, it helps offset your cost. So for me, usually this doesn't cost me anything. It just costs me my time because all the parts I sell pays back for the cars, so which is pretty nice. So again, like I said, that $1,000 is just a rough amount, and that's if I'm assuming you have no friends, no family, you live in an apartment all on your own, you don't have like any mechanical skills or background. So take that amount with a grain of salt. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you have some type of mechanical background or knowledge, and at least have your own socket set or something. But if you don't, a cheap Stanley 200-piece set at Canadian Tire, that is going to do you just fine. Maybe you got your own jack and stands, some work boots, all this stuff will help keep the cost down too, because a lot of the stuff you probably already have or you know someone that has them and you can borrow it. Now, one of the trickier things you might not have figured out is how are you going to transport this car or pick it up in the first place. And so, picking it up in the first place, maybe you can drive it home. Maybe it's not that far. Maybe you can get the guy to deliver it to you, or whatever. Call CAA. They can tow it to your house. Who knows? Um, but as far as getting it to the track, once it's built, you're not allowed to drive it on the road. So usually, most people trailer it there. And if you don't have a car trailer, well, I see a couple guys every year. They just go to U-Haul. They rent the truck, rent the trailer, boom, good to go. But then again, that can cost a little bit. But for your first time, I don't think it's too bad of a deal. So by doing the U-Haul route, this way you don't have to worry about buying a trailer also, fixing it, maintaining it, storing it, um, which just makes it a lot easier. But hey, if you have a blast your first time and decide this sport's for you and you want to do more events more frequently, then I think getting a good car trailer is a smart investment and it will save you a lot of money in the long run. So now that we've got our plan, we've got our rough budget established, where do you look? So I think the easiest place to start is go on Marketplace, Kijiji, or your favorite online buy and sell platform. Another alternative is a simple one. Just look around your neighborhood. Maybe drive a different way to work, walk your dog a different path around the block, and just take notice of the cars that are laying around. You want to keep an eye out for key factors such as flat tires, no license plates, tall grass growing around it, maybe slightly damaged, and other indicators that let you know that this car is not being driven and it's just been sitting. So usually the longer a vehicle sits in someone's yard, the more likely it is that you can get it for cheaper. One strategy I like to use is you make the seller think you're doing them a service, and in reality, you kind of are. Because maybe you're going to buy this car, give them some cash, and then it gets it out of their way, and now they have some free space again. So it's a win-win. And sometimes your presentation and the story you tell, it can help when you're trying to negotiate the price. So personally, I'm a big fan of Facebook Marketplace, um, just because I find the platform works really well. Uh, the search engine's nice, like you can usually find what you're looking for. And then also just the fact that people have profiles, so you can see how long it's been up for. You can kind of see if it looks like a real person, stuff like that. Whereas Kijiji is okay, but you just can't see as much of the profile of the person selling it. And that's why I think Marketplace is a bit better. So let's start by adjusting some of the filters. I'm going to set a maximum at $1,000. Now, this is a little high, but you got to remember Facebook Marketplace, you love to go back and forth with people. Like let's say they have it listed at 1,000, but you see some flaws like this guy already. Like I could see the body, the body filler on this Honda. Like that's terrible. Um, so you go and see it, you get them down a couple $100, and then it's in the price range you want. We're going to set the minimum to, I like to put 50 because then it gets rid of all the $1 ads where they're just listing it for parts and you don't actually buy the whole car. Date listed, you can adjust this to whenever. When it's, let's say you've already been searching for weeks and weeks and you have all this, maybe just change it to last 7 days, last 24 hours. If you're checking every day, then you just see the few new ones that pop up and you're good to go. For year, I'm going to set a maximum of 10 years. Usually is what I set because anything over 10 years old or anything newer than 10 years old is it's not going to be in this category. You're not going to find it. So maybe even change this to 15 years. But, well, the Camry I have is 2012. So I would say 10 years is at least, it kicks out those higher ones because also sometimes people list these stupid and you have brand new cars that are, $400, but it's like a lease, like you're paying that per month. So you don't care about that ad. So this hopefully gets rid of most of those. If you really care, you're trying to find something specific, you can sort by make model. Mileage doesn't matter. If you can't drive manual, click that. Click automatic. But honestly, if you don't know how to drive and you want to try, this is the perfect chance because you might as well learn on a ship box than buying a nice car and then ruin the clutch on that. So, up to you. And it also just makes your options wider. So things we're going to look for, and things that are going to make it more appealing to us is we're trying to find minor cosmetic body damage. like that, because we don't really care that much about the body. You want to make sure that it's not rotted, like you can still lift it up and jack it up a little bit, but like if the bumper's all cracked, the windshield's cracked, that doesn't care. We don't care. It doesn't matter to us. You want stuff that doesn't majorly affect drivability. So if, let's say, it says needs engine, needs transmission, I mean, you can look into it a little bit, like, okay, maybe it only has first and second gear, but no reverse, like that still kind of sucks. But let's say it only has first and reverse. Well, that's fine. That's all you really need for a Derby. So that would actually be a good deal. And if the engine, it says it's blown and it just burns a little bit of oil, like maybe a liter every 1,000 kilometers or a liter every gas tank, that's fine. Just put in a bunch of oil, send it for the Derby, and you're good to go. So those are like iffies, but I try to usually stay away from them and focus on usually some other easier ones to find. Now, if it's not your first time, and let's say one of these cars needs a clutch, and you're mechanically sound, and it's not your first time getting a car, sure, buy one of those. But for your first time, try to find something that runs and drives and doesn't have any need major mechanical repairs. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with this one. $600, pretty good deal. Honda Civic motor, no good. So right away, we see that this is probably not the one we want. So let's back out. Ideally, the price you're gonna buy one of these for, I think, right now, is like $500 to $600, unless you can find, like, there are good deals out there. I've gotten cars for 2 cases of beer before, so $100, or $200 even. Odds are you're probably gonna just spend $500 to $600, and still at that price range, you're probably still gonna make your money back off of it. So it's not terrible. But then again, you can always find the cheap ones, but you got to look a bit harder. Let's check out this Chevy Impala. Motor and transmission in good shape. Runs and drives. 2 tires came off the rims because it was sitting for a while. Okay, no problem. Oh, shit. So I see the tires have actually fallen off. Okay, so got one spare tire. So I see the tires are shredded on this car. They're no good, so you would probably need a set of tires for this. It is high mileage, 400K, but whatever. As long as it runs and drives, good to go. See, even best for Derby. So this one's not that bad. Just keep in mind that like that's a bit rusty, and you can see the rust down here. So I would look underneath for sure, make sure it's not rotted out. But hey, maybe if you have a spare set of wheels for this already, then perfect. That'd be a good one. Let's see what else we got here. Wife's car for sale. Best is a Derby car. Person we bought it from never gave us an ownership. Okay, so this is a good point. No ownership. What do? Well, you can try to get the car for a little cheaper, and it's not going to be a big deal when you try to go and sell it. Because I've sold cars without ownership before. You just try to make sure you're not buying it from someone sketchy. Get a bill of sale, and when you go to the scrapyard to scrap it, they just photocopy your driver's license, and that's pretty much it. So you don't actually need an ownership. It just is more secure if you get one. Now, also, when you get the owner, try to get the ownership when you buy the car, but you don't have to transfer it or anything. The junkyard doesn't care as long as it's in somebody's name and you have the bill of sale and their name. Like, you just tell them you ran it as a Derby car. They don't really care. They have an ownership for the car. They're happy. So this one, $600. So there you go. Pontiac, what, G5? $600 in Kitchener? Nice. I think that would be a pretty good one. What's up with this one? Okay, so not a lot of details and a lot of emojis and a low price tag. So I'd say this one, this guy probably is not answering messages, and this is maybe not a legit ad. Or at least you're not going to get anywhere with this guy, so maybe don't bother messaging him. You're just looking for key factors is all. What about this Grand Prix? 3-liter V6. Clear coat on the hood, don't care. Rust on the body, not as big of a deal. Crack front bumper, see, don't care. Needs new rear tires, well, do you need them, or like you could do the race with them or derby with them? And he was asking 1250, but now he's down to 650. So sweet, he's already dropped the price because it's been a year. So maybe that's a good deal. Now you want to watch if it's been sitting for a year. Maybe it's been sitting for a good reason, and that it's actually blown up. So you want to look at that. Always go look at these in person. Don't just say, "Oh, I'll buy it," and then pick it up sight unseen. Even with a derby car, you don't want to buy something that you can't even use. So like this one for $100, this is probably just gonna be a part out. Yeah, part out. So here's this is definitely a part out. It looks like it's in a pick and pull yard. What do we got? Like this is also probably not. Yeah, part out. Any good contenders? Lots of these. What about this fusion? Will not take 2, 3, 4, 500. Okay, 400k still good, but not roadworthy. Part scrap. So he said not 5, but maybe he'll take $600. You never know. Overall, you're also, when you're going to look at these cars, you're looking for what would I need to replace maybe to get it running and going for the Derby? Like, does it need an alternator? Does it need a starter? Does it need a battery? All these kind of things that it could add up in the cost. So you want to see what you're getting yourself into. Ooh, this is an interesting one. An Xterra. 500 for the whole SUV. Many new parts. Motor has crack block, so never mind. Let's see. And it is kind of the middle of winter right now, so you're not going to see a lot of fantastic stuff in here. Yeah, a lot of this is really old. These have been up for a long time. Okay, so I have a couple saved in my my Facebook profile. Let's go through these because these I think are some good deals. Oh, I had that Ford Focus saved. Well, he's definitely not responding. Oh, here's a sweet one I saw the other day. GMC Sonoma, nice little pickup truck. It actually looks pretty nice. Now it's only listed for $600. I feel like it's probably pretty rusty underneath and a little rough. Certain things you want to see when the dash is on, like this is only in key on, so all the lights are on. But if it was running, you would see the RPMs up at maybe like 1,000. Then you want to see what dash lights are on. That could also tell you if there's other issues with this car. But this is a nice little truck. I think that would be pretty good. It would run in the junk run for Impact Motorsports, or you could run it in the demo cross for one of the races. So I thought that was a pretty good one. Here's a good example of some damage. So this guy's priced a little high, 900 oboe, when the front looks like this, but it's got 280 on it. Engine transmission, good, nice. What you're getting, blah, blah, blah. Full set of winter tires, so that's also nice, having extra tires. Transmission, or not transmission, ownership, good to have. Airbags deployed, don't matter. Front bumper damage, don't matter. You're just going to remove it. One headlight broken, don't matter. Windshield cracked, don't matter. Hood latch jammed, don't matter. You take that off. So all of these things, like this is going to make a pretty good derby car for somebody. You just want to make sure that nothing got really damaged in the front here, because obviously this thing took a pretty hard hit. So you want to make sure nothing's super damaged in here, but like, yeah, $900 is too much for this thing. This is definitely like 300, $400. But then again, scrap price is around 500, I think, right now. For like, if you took that to the junkyard, you'd probably get $500. So good luck trying to buy it for less than that. But you never know. If you tell someone like a good story, they might tell it to you. Need gone ASAP for court. Sometimes you find some funny stuff in here. And you see a discrepancy already. Need gone ASAP. And it's been 19 weeks. I mean, he did finally sell it. This was not sold a couple days ago. But that's one good opportunity you can find. Holy, there's a hole in the rocker. Sometimes these are good opportunities. someone like really needs to make a sale, so you kind of swoop in, you get a deal yourself. And this would have been a good one. Nice little Honda. It is manual, but like I said, learn to drive manual. That's like a good skill you need to learn, I think. Kia Soul. This would have been a funny one. Standard car, woman driver. Wonder if there's any scratches on it. Oh, woman driver. Yeah, this one I think looked fine. That's why I saved it. It's a Jimmy. I used to have a Jimmy. Not running or driving, so you want to be careful on the not running and driving ones. Because you never know. It could be something super simple, like literally it just needs a battery or it needs a boost and it will start. But usually if it runs and drives, that's a bit better. Toyota Echo. No accidents. Transmission good. First gear not smooth to engage, but works. Okay, no problem. New brakes. Oh, good tip for rear brakes. You can do a rear brake delete, as I like to say. Under the hood, there is right here actually, there's this little block that 2 lines come from the master cylinder, go to here, then one goes to the front, one goes to the front over here, and then 2 of them go to the back. So let's say you have rotted out brake lines, you have seized brakes, something like that, you don't want to deal with it. Take all that off, cut the lines right here, take out these little fittings, and then if you can weld the top shut, so either hopefully you know someone with a welder or you can find someone who has a pair of these. I have a bunch of these I've made. You just weld the top shut, put it back in, bleed the front brakes, and then bam, you don't need the back brakes, and you're good to go. So that's another way you can save some cost. Okay, so let's say you've scrolled and scrolled, and there's just nothing around, and you decide to take your dog out for the walk, and you spot a car with some flat tires. Okay, so I want you to take note of it, where you are, and then when you get home, use this little tip. So let's go to Google Maps, and I will show you a cool trick that I like to use. And it helps you for a little bit of leverage, and hopefully you can get the car for cheaper. So in Kitchener, I saw a couple weeks ago, where was it? It was over here. So you're going to use Google Street View. You're going to drop the little homie on the street, and we're going to check out this little Mitsubishi here. So I noticed this car sitting here, and it has a flat front tire, as you can see. It's got no license plate, and I was like, huh, I wonder how much they want for that. So before I went up and asked them, I went to see more dates, and then we can go back in time. So it's been sitting since June 2024. September 2020, it had the blocks. It had a license plate on it in 2020, but it has still been in the same spot with a block in it since 2019. Tire still flat. 2015, oh, we got some air in the tires. It's not blocked off. But all the way back in 2014, it still doesn't really look like this car has moved anywhere. So that's 12 years this car hasn't moved. And now it just sits with a flat tire and no license plate. So this is exactly what you're looking for. And I went up to the guy and I asked him, and he said he was not interested in selling it. So, I mean, you try. But, yeah. 12 years. That's kind of insane. But, you know, you never know unless you try. So I hope you learned some things in this video. And if you did, please leave a like and even a subscribe to follow along for some more Derby content. Now maybe you know all this and you've already bought lots of cars, and in that case, please leave a comment and help other people out with some of your advice. Also make sure to look out for my Toyota Echo build series this summer, that I will be building a super basic car that one of you beginners can follow along even. And until then, I will see you next time.